lot of teams have standout moments that define their franchise in multiple ways. Today we're going to be looking at the Buffalo Bills and check out the best moments from their franchise. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification to get alerts when we upload. Without further ado, let's jump to number 10. Number 10. The ceremony. Coming off one of the worst moments in franchise history, the Buffalo Bills had just lost in their first trip to the Super Bowl. At the end of that game, Bills kicker Scott Norwood had a chance to hit a 47-yard field goal, which would have given Buffalo the victory. Instead, Norwood's kick sailed wide right and the New York Giants were champions. The next day, on January 28th, 1991, fans in Buffalo picked Norwood up and placed him on their collective shoulders. A voice of 25,000 fans showered the team with unwavering "We want Scott" chants until the kicker was forced to the podium. That was the day thousands gathered to salute the Super Bowl losers in Niagara Square and absolve Scott Norwood. Number 9. The owner. On a list of most important moments in Bills history, this moment would probably be at near the top. This moment goes all the way back to the franchise's founding. The AFL had 6 owners when Ralph Wilson decided he'd give up his minority stake in the NFL's Lions to be the sole owner of an AFL franchise. Knowing he couldn't place an AFL team in his hometown of Detroit, he tried to settle on Miami. Miami had the Orange Bowl, a growing population, and no NFL franchise. However, Wilson was rejected by Miami and was forced to look at a different home for his new team. In September of 1959, Wilson sent a telegram to AFL founder Lamar Hunt with the words, "Count me in with Buffalo." In October, the Bills were announced as the 7th team in the American Football League. Number 8. Last second plunge. The Miami Dolphins were hosting the Buffalo Bills at Joe Robbie Stadium to open the season on a humid 82-degree day. After taking a 3-0 lead, the Dolphins answered with 10 straight points before a Larry Kimbrough touchdown run got the Bills even at the start of the second half. After a blocked punt was returned for a touchdown, the Dolphins didn't trail again until when it mattered the most. Dan Marino and Jim Kelly traded touchdown passes and the score stood at 24-20 with the Dolphins in the lead at the 2-minute warning. After alternating 4 completions to Chris Burkett and Thurman Thomas, Kelly fired a pass to Andre Reed on the hash mark at the 4-yard line. Kelly and the Bills were able to spike the ball with only 2 seconds left on the clock, but a Dolphins player didn't get back before the ball was snapped. On a called quarterback draw, Kelly took the shotgun snap, ran through traffic, and dove between 2 Dolphin defenders for the winning score after time had expired. The team stormed onto the field and his offensive teammates piled on top of their quarterback. Number 7. Hail Mary. In a dogfight for the AFC East crown with the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, the 1980 Buffalo Bills could not afford a letdown in a game against the bottom-dwelling Patriots. The Bills scored first and took a 13-10 lead into the 4th quarter, but just couldn't put the Patriots away. Just after the 2-minute warning, the Patriots took a 17-13 lead. On the Bills' next possession, Joe Ferguson threw a pick, and fans started streaming for the exits. After using all 3 timeouts on defense, the Bills got one more chance at their own 27 with 37 seconds remaining and no way to stop the clock. With all of his receivers covered, Ferguson found backup running back Roland Hooks down the middle of the field for a brilliant 37-yard catch. Ferguson managed to clock the ball with 12 seconds left at New England's 36. The Bills could only afford 1 or 2 more shots at the end zone. Buffalo decided to call for the Hail Mary. All the Bills receivers lined up to the right and ran towards the end zone, where they found 6 Patriots. Ferguson's heave was deflected by linebacker Mike Hawkins, but Hooks was the miracle man on the final drive and caught the batted ball for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Buffalo would then assure a playoff spot thanks to the Week 8 win over the Denver Broncos, who would also finish 10-6. Without Hooks' miraculous final drive, the 1981 Bills would have never been able to win the team's first playoff game. Number 6. Gutting it out. The 1980 Bills were on the verge of the NFL playoffs for only the 2nd time since the merger and needed a win in Week 16 in order to win the AFC East. During their Week 15 loss to the New England Patriots, Bills quarterback Joe Ferguson severely injured his ankle. Even with 10 wins, the Bills would have been on the outside looking in on the playoffs and needed a win over the San Francisco 49ers in the final game to advance. Playing through an injured ankle was not Ferguson's only challenge, as he had to play against the young Joe Montana. Ferguson started the game by scoring and hitting Jerry Butler for a 10-yard score in the first. He only passed for 102 yards, but the Bills' offense was able to put up 16 points on the board while the defense added a safety in the 18-13 win. The Bills did have a bye during the wildcard round. Ferguson's ankle did not fully heal, and when the team traveled to San Diego, he continued to play but re-injured the ankle in the first quarter. The Bills did have a 14-3 halftime lead, but did end up falling 20-14 on a late Chargers touchdown pass with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. Ferguson's last play of the game was an interception where his ankle simply gave out. Number 5. 20-77. The 1990 Buffalo Bills were a team destined for great things following close playoff losses in 1988 and 1989. After a 2-1 start where they lost to division rival Miami, Buffalo was going up against the reigning AFC champions Denver Broncos in Week 4. The Broncos lined up for a 24-yard field goal attempt early in the fourth quarter that would have given them a 3-possession lead in the days before the 2-point conversion. But instead of a chip shot 3 points, Cornelius Bennett picked up a blocked field goal out of the air and raced 80 yards for his first career touchdown. After the kickoff, another batted ball turned into a Buffalo interception that Leonard Smith returned for a touchdown. Though Scott Norwood's extra point attempt was blocked, the Bills still held a 22-21 lead without their offense even taking the field. Denver continued to turn the ball over as John Elway fumbled a shotgun snap on his own 4-yard line. Bennett was once again in the right place at the right time and fell on the ball. Kenneth Davis's touchdown and the extra point gave the Buffalo Bills 20 points in 77 seconds, with their offense only playing 1 snap. The Buffalo Bills ended up winning the game 29-28, improved their record to 3-1. Number 4. Jerry Butler. The Bills picked wide receiver Jerry Butler with the 5th overall selection in the 1979 NFL Draft. It didn't take long for the speedy wide receiver to flash the talent the Bills were looking for, as in Week 4, with the Bills hosting the New York Jets, Butler had by far the most impressive performance of his career, catching 10 passes for 255 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Jets led 24-12 before Butler took over. Consecutive touchdowns of 74 and 75 yards ended the halftime to give the Bills their first lead of the game. A 9-yard touchdown brought Butler's total to 4 on the day and gave Buffalo a 33-24 lead. The 255 receiving yards was a single game franchise record until Lee Evans later on broke it against the Texans in 2006. 4 touchdowns, however, still stands as the team record, matched only by Don Beebe in 1991. And if you put this game into historical perspective, Butler would have 50 fantasy football points. Number 3. The blowout. Led by Thurman Thomas's 138 rushing yards and Kenneth Davis's 3 rushing touchdowns, the high-powered Bills offense totaled more than 500 yards. The Bills picked off Los Angeles Raiders quarterback Jay Shorter 5 times, and backup Vince Evans once held the Raiders quarterbacks to a measly 38% completion percentage. The game ended with a Scott Norwood field goal that pushed the score to 51-3. The Bills' next game came up against the Giants in the Super Bowl, and it also ended with a Scott Norwood field goal. Number 2. Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith is one of the best players in franchise history and arguably one of the best defensive players of all time. Bills took the Virginia Tech defensive end with the 1st overall pick in the 1985 draft, a class that included fellow Hall of Famers Jerry Rice, Chris Dolman, Kevin Green, and fellow Bills great Andre Reed. Bruce Smith went on to become an 11-time Pro Bowler, 8-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, a College Football Hall of Famer, and a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Number 1. The comeback. In the 1992 AFC wildcard game, better known as the comeback, saw the Bills overcome a 28-3 halftime deficit to beat the Houston Oilers 41-38. Backup quarterback Frank Reich, playing in place of star quarterback Jim Kelly, who suffered a knee injury in the Bills' loss to the Oilers only weeks before, threw for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. The win puts the game as one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. In overtime, Houston won the coin toss and got the ball at its 20-yard line. Quarterback Warren Moon started out the drive with 2 completions for 7 yards, but his 50th pass attempt of the day turned out to be his last. On 3rd and 3, Moon threw an interception into the arms of defensive back Nate Odoms for an interception. After 2 runs by Davis, Christie kicked off a 32-yard field goal to give Buffalo the win, 41-38. Moon finished the game with 36 of 50 completions for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. However, Bills backup quarterback Frank Reich finished the game with 21 of 34 pass completions for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns with only 1 interception. Andre Reed also had a standout performance with 8 catches for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let us know in the comments down below which Bills moment is your favorite. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more sports content. As always, we'll see you guys next time.